in terms of false allegations, there's this book. I've had this book for a while. It's called Wrongful Allegations of Sexual and Child Abuse. And it's edited by Roz Burnett. If you Google online the name of this book, Wrongful Allegations of Sexual and Child Abuse by Roz Burnett, I actually wrote a review for this book, but not on Amazon. I wrote the review by request of the editor herself, Roz Burnett. Wonderful lady. And this was published by Oxford, so there's a lot of respectable credentials behind this book. There's a lot of multiple authors in this book. I'll just read to you the contents. Let's see. Wait a second. All right. Part 1. The reality of wrongful allegations of abuse. What kind of allegations and why do they matter? Which is what I'm going to talk about tonight. Part 2, culture, ideology, politics. What is the terrain that gives rise to false allegations? Part 3, the allegation, causes, motivations, case studies, and why would anyone make a false accusation? And part 4, interrogation, prosecution, convictions, appeal, and how could the justice system get it so wrong? Part 5, finding ways forward. What's to be done? Unfortunately, there's not a lot of answers in that section, but I strongly recommend this book for people who are intensely interested in understanding why the justice system fails so many people, and the motivations behind false accusations. There's a lot of, differing viewpoints. There are also accounts from people and their families who have experienced false allegations through, and their firsthand accounts describing what it was like, the experience, what happened to their family as a result, and how they were disappointed by what they thought was, a functioning justice system, only to learn otherwise. This book is amazing. It's very expensive, but it's worth it if you want to add a highly regarded book on the topic to your library, to your studies, to your research. If you're a law student, it's an excellent book. A lot of lawyers write in this book, law professors. There are cases talked about in the UK, in the US, and in Canada. So it's a very relevant book internationally. I have a link to it in the description bar in this live stream. So tonight's topic, false accusations and what to expect. So I just kind of scribbled some notes together to try and create a structure to keep myself on track and to cover things that aren't always talked about in other materials. So yeah, you guys just try and follow along. And hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. And if you have questions regarding anything I'm saying or comments, feel free, throw them in the chat. And then once I'm finished talking about a section, then I'll review it and answer questions accordingly, as best as I can. So, okay, the different types of sex abuse claims. There are many different scenarios in which these occur. So the most obvious one is in relationship breakdowns between a couple, a marriage, two people who were just having a casual relationship, a sugar daddy relationship, John and prostitute relationship. The relationship breakdown can cover lots of different types of relationships between a man and a woman. So that's one category. Another one is family. They can involve claims of incest and child abuse claims and other relatives, uncles, aunts, any of the parents, brothers, siblings, cousins. So something involved within the family. Another type is an acquaintance accusation. where it's somebody you barely know. You may have met once, you might have worked with them in the past. Could have been a neighbor, could be a neighbor, somebody you don't really know very well, but they're in your domain. A situation where just an accusation comes out of the blue by somebody you barely know. And another type of accusation is one where you have never met the person who's accusing you. Another type is a workplace accusation. And then another type, the final type, is schools and universities. There might be other categories I'm not thinking of, but these are the main ones that are most common and most talked about in the media. So these are all the different categories that I want you all to keep in mind. So relationship breakdown, family, acquaintance, never met, workplace, and schools and universities. So those are the categories. Hey there, do you find this content valuable, informative, and thought-provoking? If you do, there are links in the description bar for multiple ways to support my work. Donations help to sustain the production of content that informs and inspires viewers like you. Support what you value by contributing one-time or monthly recurring. Buy merchandise to take a stand and start a new conversation. And last but not least, subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share to help this channel grow. Then we have the arena for which the accusation takes place. So we have a social accusation where it goes no further beyond that. And it's a Twitter accusation. It's something that happens on Facebook or in a forum somewhere. It's just becomes a rumor online or amongst a group of friends. All of these types of arenas and these types of accusations, they all have different outcomes. Some of them have some outcomes that are common, but some of the, there's some more serious outcomes, obviously. So in a social accusation, one of the most common outcomes is isolation, social ostracization, and reputational death. Then we have civil or family court accusations. The outcomes of those are often loss of children, more alimony to be paid out, or loss of assets. And then we have criminal accusations, where, you go to the police, the person goes to the police, and the outcome of that could be loss of kids, more alimony payout, loss of assets, jail, prison, registration on sex offender registry for life in most cases, many cases, difficulty traveling, loss of children, reputational damage, social ostracization, deportation in some cases. So obviously criminal has the most severe outcome. And then there's professional trade accusations. Let's say you're a doctor or a dentist or a professor or a daycare worker or a nurse or anything like that. The outcome of that typically is loss of your license to practice in that trade, permanent revocation of your license. And that often takes place in a tribunal, like the College of Physicians and Surgeons, for example. So they could have a separate criminal case against them and they could still be acquitted of all the charges, but then they'll have a separate professional tribunal where they can still have their license revoked as a result of the claim. Then you have institutional tribunals, and those are also similar as professional trade. So in the context of a university student or a college student, you obviously experience reputational death, and you are also unable to complete your studies, and in most cases ever get a degree because no university will accept you. These are all the outcomes of these types of accusations, and most of them are very serious. Not everybody might experience the most severe of these outcomes in these situations, but many people do. Many people fear that they're going to when this starts to happen, and it's a rightful fear, and it may happen. If you have no idea, you've never experienced an accusation, this is to give you an idea as to what people experience. So another outcome could be potentially suicide attempts, successful or not, murder, vigilantism, and those are also very, very serious. Very serious. Now, the other side of this coin of these outcomes is also motivation. When the person making these accusations in any of these arenas are doing it, they have to be aware of some of these outcomes. They have to be. And they might be making these accusations because they want that outcome for you. They wish that outcome upon you because they dislike you for whatever reason, or they're angry at you, or they're vengeful for whatever reason. Or they're just crazy and they just chose your name out of a hat and you got lucky. Or for whatever reason, the police decided to pin it on you or the prosecutor. There's a myriad of reasons why false accusations happen in these arenas. And I'm not talking all accusations and these are the reasons. Obviously, if an accusation is true and such a thing has occurred, maybe in some of these cases the outcome is correct. But I'm specifically talking, as I always do, about wrongful allegations, false allegations. So keep that in mind, and that's all I'm talking about.